you doing? Hi. Need some self-forgiveness? Yeah, it's alright. I've been there too, man, like 20, 30 times. So you don't need to be embarrassed about whatever you're feeling. We've all been through it, we're all human. It's a safe space. And it's a very bountiful safe space, because you might feel like you're alone in feeling what you're feeling, but everyone watching this is watching it for their own reason. Whether they're forgiving themselves for allowing someone to treat them a certain way, whether they're forgiving their past behavior, their past beliefs. We're all here for a reason. But none of us are really here alone, even if we're not talking about it. A lot of people are going through the exact same thing that we're going through. It's nothing shameful. We're all people. All human. It's part of the deal. But I think when it's ourselves, we tend to forget that we also deserve room for human error. We're not a machine, we're a human being. So I hope instead of branding yourself as a weak person or a terrible person, you look at the bigger picture and see that you're a person. All humans have good and bad traits. All of us. And the reason that you feel like you're so much worse and more terrible or more weak than everybody else is because we're not just going around talking about our flaws. We're all trying to present ourselves as the best version of ourselves. You're not some anomaly. You're the norm. We just don't talk about it very often. So let's stop punishing ourselves. Let's stop shaming ourselves. Let's instead start to learn some self-awareness. You made whatever choice that you made because of something that you were feeling at the moment that your choice came about. It's alright. I'm not blaming you, I'm not shaming you, but let's take a look at what the motive was. Were you angry? Were you vengeful? Did you feel like your boundaries got crossed? Or if you're forgiving something that you allowed to happen to you, were you people-pleasing? Were you just burnt out and gave up? Did you feel manipulated in any way? You need to know your motive, because if you don't know why something happened, you're not going to be able to move past it. And also, if you don't know what triggered it from you, then it's likely going to happen again. And the goal with all bad things is to be able to say that it happened, not that it's still happening. So even if your motive was selfishness or vengefulness, you think I've never been selfish? You think I've never been vengeful? We've all felt those things. You're not the only person. It's alright. Just name whatever your motive was without shaming yourself for it. There's no shame in feeling something negative, you know? All emotions are just information. They're a reaction to an event. That's all they are. Then wherever that emotion stems from needs some love and care. Like, did you do your thing because you felt insecure? Well, why did you feel insecure? Let's start unlearning what's in your brain. And let's find a healthy way to do it. Because whatever you did that's making you feel ashamed and making you feel like you need to forgive yourself, that wasn't a healthy way of managing that emotion. And you know that. So maybe with some experimentation, you should be able to find a way to relieve yourself of whatever you're feeling without causing harm to yourself and others. When the emotional trigger is resolved, so is the behavior. And when the behavior is resolved, there is no need to carry shame anymore. The shame has served its purpose. It only existed to highlight a problem that you wanted to fix. And then when it's fixed, you can let it go. Simple as that. But I also think that we demonize our bad traits a little too much. I find a lot of times that our traits aren't the problem, but how we use them is the problem. Because let's say someone punched me. I would be correct to punch them back, and that comes from a protective place. But if someone accidentally bumped my shoulder and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that," and then I punch them in the face, it's the same action, but it's an absolutely inappropriate use of that action. Like, we all have a bit of a darker side to us, but it has a time and place, and I think a lot of these situations where we feel ashamed of ourselves is just us using that more protective and darker side of us inappropriately. Because, I mean, I would have every right to punch someone back, but I wouldn't have a right to punch someone over an accident. But you see how the behavior isn't the problem, it's just the use of that behavior and the circumstance surrounding that behavior. I don't think that we should shame ourselves for having a full range of personality. We're a human being. We're not all good, and we're also not all bad. We're kind of a spectrum, and wherever we land on that spectrum depends on the situation surrounding us. So I think there's no reason to deny that the darker parts of you exist. They do. And the more that you deny them, the more that they're gonna come out and upset you and make you hate yourself. Just accept that they exist. They're there. What are you gonna do about it? You're a human being. You can't get rid of everything. And some of them are really fucking useful. Like, if you had a toxic partner, but you wanted to be this all love and light, sweetheart kind of person, but that person was being manipulative and horrible to you, and you just wanted to be nothing but sweet, you would take that for the rest of your life. You would never stand up for yourself, never do anything. Standing up for yourself comes from a protective side of you. That's more of a darker trait. The action of leaving people who are harmful to you is a bit of a darker action, however, it's useful. There are times and places where you need to call upon the more dark half of you to protect yourself. I don't think there's any reason to shame yourself for that. You're a human being. We're all good and bad. All of us. But I think the more self-aware we are of our bad traits, the better, because then we can actually use them tactically instead of accidentally and then we feel horrible. Like, if I do something bad, it was a choice. It was absolutely a premeditated choice for me. And so then I don't feel bad about it because I know myself and I know that I'm very good at discerning when and where to have a little more darkness to my personality. I'll only do it if I feel like it's necessary, and so then I don't feel bad about it after. You gotta make peace with the dark halves of you because they're actually so fucking useful. Like, in a situation where you're being manipulated and emotionally abused or whatever, you need that darker half of you to get you out of there. You need that more abrasive side for you to be able to stand up for yourself and say, man, fuck off. Like, sometimes you need to tell someone to fuck off. You don't need to be this perfectly sweet and kind person all the time. Some people need to be told to shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, but they do. And you deserve to say that sometimes. There's nothing wrong with having a full human experience and not just pretending you're this sweet person and nothing else. We all kind of suck sometimes, but at least we can use the human half of us for our advantage and use it when it's appropriate. If you make peace with it, then you can pick and choose which traits come forward when you need them to. Because once again, if you're in a horrible situation and you're just trying to be this sweet, kind-only person, you are going to get walked all over. To be kind to someone that is actively hurting you is a misuse of your kind traits. Just like to punch someone for an accidental bumping into you is a misuse of your dark traits. Both of them are useful, however, you need to grow the ability to discern when and where you're going to use them. Don't misuse your kindness for people who don't deserve it, because that's only going to put you in a position where you need to forgive yourself for allowing that to happen. The journey of forgiveness is not just about your wrongdoings, but it's also about what you've allowed to happen to you. And some things happen to you outside of your control. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about things where you could have walked away, but you didn't. It will always happen again until you decide to change and to forgive that part of you and grow and change and be a different version of yourself. Forgiveness is mainly about change and also making peace with who you are, because all parts of you exist and all parts of you deserve acknowledgement. There's no such thing as being all good and all bad. You can take use from both sides of you and use them whenever you feel they need to come out. It's that easy. Well, no, it's not. It takes a lot of work. But once you get there, it becomes very easy. And then you can do things, you won't feel bad about them because you know you made a good decision that you are very sure of yourself about. But that being said, that's all for today. I mean, I really hope you're doing well. And I wanted to say a special thank you to my subreddit for being so kind to me and making me feel so supported and happy. And also another special thank you to someone on my subreddit, con_ong-392. Thank you for drawing this. They gave me permission to use my little sprite as my profile picture, and I was so excited to see this. Dude, I showed all of my friends this art. I was so excited. Dude, on my life, that's like one of the top moments of like the most happy I've ever felt. Like, that made me so happy. I literally showed all my friends. But But yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys for being awesome and amazing. And that's all. And bye!